What's hiding underneath things can be scary. Underwater, under your bed, especially what's under your carpet. Except when you get new carpet from Carpet One Floor & Home. After tearing up your old carpet, they'll vacuum and apply Health Annex antimicrobial to your subfloor, disinfecting and killing mold, mildew, and any remaining general awfulness. Carpet One Floor & Home goes the extra mile to protect you, your family, and your home. Carpet One Floor & Home in Columbia, making your home beautiful, guaranteed.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Tuesday, January the 15th. I want to introduce you to Randy Cole. And Randy is here to talk about the Community Land Trust. Now, you may be asking yourself, what is the Community Land Trust? Tell us, Randy.
The Columbia Community Land Trust models the national Community Land Trust model, and then it's a separate 501c3. I work for the city, but it's a 501c3 organization with charitable causes to create and provide homeownership opportunities for lower income citizens.
Now, is this run by the City of Columbia?
So currently it is. It was a city council initiative that came out of late 2015. The city started a new nonprofit entity to be the Columbia Community Land Trust to do a new way of doing business. We've funded affordable homeownership in our community for many years, for decades. But what community land trusts do is they protect those investments for the long term and for future buyers beyond that first one.
So the Community Land Trust will own a certain amount of land, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They keep it, but people can build a home on that land. They own the home, but not the land. Is that correct?
Correct. So the city's been funding the creation or the construction of affordable housing with partners like Habitat for Humanity, Job Point, Central Missouri Community Action, and now some private developers that want to help with the affordable housing challenges that our community is facing. The Community Land Trust will be the entity that maintains ownership of the land, so we sell just the house to the homeowner. But what that lets us do is sell the home at a greatly reduced price, but then protect that reduced price for the next buyers down the road. So in exchange for that first buyer getting an opportunity for the seat at the table of home ownership, they pay it forward to the next buyer.
Okay, so they own the home, but not the land. Are they paying lease payments on the land?
Yes, there's typically, most community land trusts have a very nominal fee to help with ongoing operations of the community land trust. So right now that fee is $40 a month, but really it's coming in place of what might be PMI, but it's actually quite less than PMI. So if you look at what a community land trust homeowner is paying on their monthly mortgage costs, one of our current ones, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is right around $750 a month. Mm-hmm. So that's a very affordable home mortgage, more so than many rental properties in town. And they're getting the opportunity to build equity. So all the equity that they build on paying down their mortgage, they can take to the next home that they purchase.
What happens when the homeowner sells the home? The lease then transfers to the next buyer?
No. So they are 99-year leases that are renewable. So they can pass it on to their heirs if they want. But if they decide they want to sell the home, we would execute a new lease with the new buyer with new provisions. But what the ground lease does is it makes sure someone can't take this opportunity where we've paid in a lot of public or charitable dollars to get a low price. The homes we're building might cost between $150,000 and $175,000, but we're selling them for around $100-ish. So there's quite a bit of subsidy there to create the opportunity for someone to own a home that otherwise wouldn't be able to have that opportunity. So we want to protect that subsidy for the next buyer. And what the ground lease does is it requires that homeowners can't capture more than 25% of the market appreciation. So they can take all of the equity that they've paid down on their mortgage. That's all there is, just like any homeowner. Mm-hmm. But because they've had this large subsidy to create an affordable mortgage, we want to protect that subsidy for the next buyer. So we don't just create one affordable mortgage. We truly create an affordable unit that can serve people beyond our lifetimes.
How many acres of land does the Community Land Trust own at this point?
So right now we have 8 lots that are in the ownership of the Community Land Trust with homes on them. 6 of them have sold. There's 2 more in process. And I anticipate over the next year we'll get 12 to 15 more in the next year to year and a half.
So are you asking people to donate land, or is the city going out and looking for plots of land to purchase and then putting it into the land trust?
So the city's been supporting affordable housing for many decades with our community development block grant and home funds, and that's the funds that I oversee. So we've been doing this type of activity for many years, but what we've known is once we've made that initial investment, the first buyer will sell, and then that home's no longer affordable, or it potentially turns into a rental unit. So what the Community Land Trust is, it's a new initiative to protect all of those cities' investments in affordable housing going forward. So that's the whole intent of the Community Land Trust.
If the person who owns that house stays in the house until their death, and they leave it in a will, to the kids or whoever the beneficiary would be, they get the house but not the land.
Correct. So
they can sell the house.
So they get the house. They could sell the house. It would just be restricted to that resale price to make sure they don't take overly benefit from the public subsidy. For public dollars, we want those dollars to keep benefiting the public rather than one private individual.
If somebody listening right now or watching has some land that they would like to donate to you, to the city, to provide affordable housing, how does that work?
So they would want to get in touch with me because we'll be utilizing federal dollars on the land. We have to do a series of environmental reviews and studies that we do.
So it's not that simple.
It's not, but we make it simple because we take on all the burden of doing all that process.
Just to make a donation, if somebody wants to donate, say, 10 or 20 acres of land to you, you can't just accept it? You have to go through an entire process?
Correct. So we'll be using federal dollars on the construction of the homes. And with that comes that we have to abide by NEPA Part 58. That's our environmental law. That basically says we've got to review, does this property have any contamination? Is it in a floodplain? Is it near some railroad tracks? Is it near an airport? Is it in an undesirable and unhealthy location? Because what we know from a lot of the efforts back in, say, the 50s and 60s, a lot of the affordable housing was put in places that were less desirable. So we've just got to do that process to make sure it's good for the people we're serving and the community. But again, the city staff takes on all that role. It takes us about 90 days to do, and we've got all the resources in place to be able to take a donation. So
so if people want more information, they get in touch with you on the website, which is
ComoLandTrust.org.
ComoLandTrust.org, or is there a phone number if they want to talk to you?
Yeah, they can give me a call at 874-6321.
All right, Randy, thank you so much for coming by. Continued success with what you're doing and helping out in the community.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
If tomorrow Joan Stack will, Joan will be on Martin Luther King Day. That's coming up next week. See you.